homesick. When I pastored in Springfield for 10 years, I got to know pastors and ministry leaders. I prayed with them and they became my very good friends. And when I left that place and moved to Lebanon, Oregon, it was very sad to lose my friends. It was one of the hardest things about moving. But the good news was there was a thing called Church of the Valley that I was excited about. Pastors in this area that I'm in now and ministry leaders cooperating together and praying together. But I must admit that I was disappointed in those first few meetings. I just thought, these are not my friends. I don't really like these people. Well, the fact was, I missed my old friends. I was homesick. My heart was somewhere else. And so it is with believers. Our heart is in the inheritance that's been promised to us. Yes, we're excited that God's grace is sufficient for every day. We anticipate the day with looking ahead to what God's going to do, but mostly our hearts are set on the inheritance that He has promised to us. Welcome to Truth Talk with Ed Skipper, published 3 times a week. Peter says this, 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. Praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. In His great mercy, He has given us new birth into a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, and into an inheritance that cannot perish, spoil, or fade, kept in heaven for you. So what is this inheritance? Certainly it is a place that's kept for us, but it also is a person. Now, my wife was having a conversation with one of our daughters a few years back, and I heard her say to her that she may get a decent inheritance from us, but she may not. It all depends on the end of our life and whether we have kind of a medical emergencies where we blow through that money that could go to her. That kind of ruins the idea of a promise of an inheritance, that it may or may not happen. But in this case, Peter is saying this inheritance cannot perish, spoil, or fade, kept in heaven for you. It is guaranteed. Now, people get excited about a lot of things. We get excited about relationships. We get excited about vacations. We get excited maybe about, I could be retiring. But here is something that absolutely shatters all those things. There is an inheritance that can't perish, spoil, or fade, kept in heaven for us. A day when He will wipe away every tear. There'll be no more sorrow or sadness or death or mourning. What a great day that we anticipate. And it's why the author of Hebrews was able to say to them in Hebrews 10:34, you sympathize with those in prison and joyfully accepted the confiscation of your property because you knew that you yourselves had better and lasting possessions. Wow, they were able to say, go ahead and bring on the persecution, and you may take our property, but you can't get our best possession, that inheritance that is stored up for us. Peter goes on in verse 5 to talk about those people who are receiving this inheritance. It says, who by faith are shielded by God's power until the coming of the salvation that is ready to be revealed in the last time. And so we find out that not only do we have an inheritance that is stored up and reserved for us, but also we ourselves are kept. So He's keeping an inheritance, and He's keeping us by the power of God through our faith. So be encouraged, friends. And check out the previous 112 episodes of Truth Talk. And until next time, may you be encouraged that God is keeping an inheritance for you, and He is keeping you for that inheritance through your faith and by His power.